Once again, we are back to look at this mashup of two different worlds. The classic retail world of Half-Life 2 collides with the dark and gritty beta world and forms this fantastic mashup. Welcome, dear viewers, to Raising the Bar Retail Division 2. RTBRT is basically a spin-off project based on the assets of Raising the Bar Redux, the famous Half-Life 2 beta recreation mod that's been steadily in the works for years. They also recently had a new division earlier this year, and I'll cover that in a separate video. So, what's new in Division 2 for RTB Retail? Well, the main update is that Water Hazard has been added to the game, but also the previous maps featured in Division 1 have been heavily reworked and updated. I covered Division 1 last year as well, but today let's look at it again and see the updated state of things. Right as I booted up the game, I knew I was in for something special. Like, look at this, man, this looks so goddamn good. The intro starts off at G-Man with custom voice acting, and also the backgrounds have been updated as well. While he says his usual lines, I was thinking it would have been cool if developers could mix in some of the cut lines he had in the original intro. You know, just a thought.
Let's just say come again.
Right from the train station, you can see a cremator blazing up a train compartment, and looking out the window, you can also see that the visuals have been completely overhauled to match the style of Raising the Bar Redux. Now, you have to understand that this mod isn't basing its visuals off the cut content like the old leaked maps or concept art, but it's basing its visuals on how Raising the Bar Redux is visualizing the beta. So if you're a fan of that mod, you will feel right at home here. We see the console's bald head on the screen, and he too has custom voice acting as well. In fact, there's quite a lot of custom voice acting in this, which is pretty cool.
That I elected to establish my administration in the citadels thoughtfully provided by our benefit.
Stop, that's all I have left.
The train station's usual bright interiors have been updated to be this grim and depressing place. New props and models and a completely new texture job makes it look much more modern looking compared to the original version. As you can see from the new models for the Metro Cops, these are taken from RTBR, and of course, there's Barney. Now, about that custom voice acting I mentioned, I don't have much to say. I mean, it's alright, but there's another issue I noticed: the volume mixing. All the custom voice lines in this mod feel very muffled compared to the ambience or background or sound effects. This was specifically noticeable in the teleportation scene. Now notice how Mossman's original voice line is sounding normal, but everyone else's sounds are very quiet.
What's happening?
I'm not sure. It seems to be some kind of interference.
Stay put. We'll get you out of there.
Something is drawing him away.
Gotta put a show on for the cameras. I've been working undercover with civil protection. I can't wait too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind.
Might be that the custom voice acting files may need some mastering or mixing, but this might be an issue on my PC as well, but I don't know, let me know in the comments. Anyway, one of the best things about this mod is that it plays with your muscle memory, like here. You know when Barney opens the back door you'll have to stack boxes and jump out the window, but guess what? That's not the case. This mod instead leads you down to the tunnels, which I think is a reference to that one underground part from the beta. Later on there will be several cases of these alternate routes, and they are all executed perfectly. These new places meld perfectly with the original map layout and visuals and feel like they've always been part of the game. There was even the infamous cremator factory here. No child labor though. Maybe the child labor children grew up and this is them now. The devs really upped their work on detailing these maps. There's so many small things you can notice in every single room or hall you pass through. Carefully placed or modified, these places feel like they've been made by industry professionals and not just fans of Half-Life. And then you step outside the train station and oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This scene right here is the pinnacle of mashing the dark and gritty with the retail world of Half-Life 2. I love the new additions here, like the phone booth or interiors to the shops. The skyline also has been updated and it looks gorgeous. The retail game made sure to let the players know that they're somewhere in Eastern Europe, but this mod changes that up and turns City 17 into this amalgamation of a modern city and a future dystopia, or a US city like Chicago, mixing both North American and European stuff together. Also, this NPC feels like an Easter egg because I don't think I saw him again after this. He has an interesting face though. This mod really does capture that mood of Raising the Bar Redux pretty well, which in turn did a great interpretation of the beta. Inside, the desolate state of the rooms and hallways is peak atmosphere, literally dark and gritty. Thanks to the time of day change, it's darker than usual, and also, this poor bastard gets his ass burned to a crisp. This was hilarious. On the rooftops, we can get a better idea of the skyline I was talking about, and look at that, man. God damn it. Shifting the tone away from the retail European look to a more dystopian / American city-like look the beta had, that's a great choice. Next up, we meet with Alex. I think they used a modified model of hers from RTBR because I remember her hair being red in that, but it's black hair. I made this point in the last RTBR video, but the voice actress who's voicing Alex literally sounds like the original unknown voice actress they had during development. Like, look at this. This is from the beta.
Well, here we are. It's not home exactly. I never stay anywhere long enough to call it home, but it has all the comforts, like food and water, weapons, and ammo.
And now listen to this voice actress.
You don't want to get in their way. Dr. Kleiner said you'd be coming this way. I don't think it occurred to him that you might not have a map.
It feels uncanny. Kleiner's lab gets the same treatment as we've seen before, but this pipe system is a sight to behold, cause what is going on here? Also, is it me or did they get Harry S. Robinson to do the lines again? Cause he sounds the same, but a little bit older.
Lamar, come out of there!
Uh-oh. Everything all right, Dr. Kleiner?
Hello, Alex. Well, almost all right. Lamar has gotten out of her crate again. If I did know better, I suspect Barney of trapping and, my goodness, Gordon Freeman.
I noticed this nice little nod to that one concept art where Kleiner is standing next to the old Half-Life 1 HEV suit. Then we put on the tubular-style HEV suit and get on our way to the teleportation scene. Also, it's neat to see Kleiner have some Zenflora here for research, and 2 melons and some bananas. Oh, you freaky old man, you.
My goodness.
Here we can also hear Eli's voice acting as well, which is pretty decent.
Isaac, are you there?
Yes, Eli. Bit of a hold-up on this end. You'll never guess who found his way into our lab this morning.
That's not who I think it is it?
Indeed it is. And it's our intention to send him packing straight away in the company of your lovely daughter.
Are you ready for us, Dad?
We're all set on this end.
Then let's do it.
Coming back outside, the Citadel looks fantastic. The cloudy skybox with a different style of lighting is a refreshing way to play Half-Life 2 again. It looks beautiful. As with most things in this, the weapon models and their animations are from RTBR, and I'm a very big fan of these models and animations, especially the pistol. This is again one of those bits where the usual route is blocked off and we get to take a detour. This time around it's basically like a maintenance area of the train station. You can even see one of the terminals with this cool looking contraption here. I gotta say, it has to be some sort of record on how many times fans have redone or reworked or remade the Half-Life 2 campaign through these mods. I feel like it's the evidence of how timeless the Half-Life 2 campaign is and how dedicated the fans of the franchise are. Kid me would have never expected the Half-Life modding scene to become this professional, vast, and intense, but here we are. I liked this bit a lot. Even though it's a simple change of widening the canal, it oddly makes it look even better than usual. Not gonna lie, my trypophobia is freaking me the fuck out right now. Here the new updated aesthetics reminded me quite a bit of cinematic mod, but in a good way. The extra debris, the new props, flora, it all adds a lot to the scenery. Here we take another detour which takes us through the tunnels and maintenance areas. There was this scene where someone threw a slam across this hole in the wall and we threw it back like a Looney Tunes character. I remember these rooms looked a little barren comparatively in the previous version, so big props to the devs on updating all of this. After that we come back out and use the mounted gun to take out the soldiers and the scanners. I don't know if it's a reference to it, but this gun really looks like that HMG from the beta. Here we see some of that cinematic mod type visuals, but again, not as batshit insane. The main problem with cinematic mod is that every second I got stuck on a newly added piece of 3D prop or debris. That's not the case here. And oh, would you look at that? Dynamic lighting. Same with the chopper that's hunting us. Nice. Small things like this make me really happy. In the last video on this mod, I said that this mod somehow managed to make this part of Root Canal fun to play. And given how much I hate this part of Root Canal, that's a pretty high achievement. How the mod does this is by keeping the signature or hallmarks of the chapter still there, like this place or this place or this place, and places like are in the chapter, but it overhauls the places in between these hallmarks. Basically, they updated how the player gets to them, which is interesting. So now it's a mix of something very familiar and very fresh at the same time, which is pretty much the gist of this whole thing. But as mentioned before, these are all parts of Division 1 they overhauled. The new updated look to these places are nice, there's tons of details, quite a few references to the beta, like the concept art stuff or the leaked maps themselves, and overall it's just fun to play. But let's talk about the new stuff, the Division 2 stuff, and that is my distant cousin, Water Hazard. And wow, I mean holy shit! Pumping out this level of graphical fidelity from a 20-year-old engine is insane. But it does have some caveats which I'll get to. Right away I checked the dock area where G-Man is, and we have a whole new little section here, the small shantytown-like place. The 3D model of the boat from Division 1 felt way too bulky, so I'm glad they shifted to this more lean looking one. Also there's hound eyes, and goddamn I hate these hound eyes, mainly because they do a crap ton of damage to you and I feel like they're quite OP. But then again, I'm glad to see these critters are back again. The foliage on the sides of the canals also feels slightly off, like it's just a straight line of green grass blades. Maybe pepper them around a little, instead of placing them down in a straight line. Reduce the density or mix up the height of their blades. And on the sides up above, the updated style of the buildings and the overall locales we can see while passing through, it's very HD, if that makes any sense. Like it's high quality and there's a lot of new buildings you can see, and it makes this part of the city feel much denser. While I won't get into the nitty gritty of it because it's pretty much the usual Water Hazard chapter, I will say that there's tons of new stuff to look at here. The gunplay in the new sections is great, and there's a new weapon, the AK, that feels so good to use, and of course the Magnum as well. There's a bit where you have to save a Vortigon to power up a generator that allows you to move forward. This is a nice little addition that makes you take a break from the vehicle section and takes you on a small adventure. Then there's this bit with the cremator fight, which also feels pretty nice. The climax with the chopper boss fight is the true pinnacle of this chapter though. Granted, the layout is pretty much the same as before, but aesthetically, this is the peak of this mod. But it feels very episode 2 inspired. The inspiration it takes from the aesthetics of RTBR translate very well over here. The atmosphere feels more serious and concentrated compared to the glowy and saturated aesthetics of the retail game. But throughout this chapter, I have to say that the new additions of these objects and debris and props along the path we take is sometimes a hindrance. In the original, it felt very smooth. Like here, there are some points where you'll get stuck on something or hit a wall or overshoot your jump. But that doesn't mean it's bad or I didn't like this. It's one hell of a great rendition of an all-time classic. The chapter feels like it's properly remastered now, and the design philosophy makes it such a refreshing chapter to go through. It's just that there's a slight need for tweaking on how the path is for the player now. The original chapter naturally funneled the player, it guided it, and all the stuff laid in the canals didn't matter that much, and I think that should be replicated here too. Overall, Raising the Bar Retail is an excellent project. In 2 years, they've managed to completely overhaul the familiar world of Half-Life 2 into something special. Fans of the cut content of Half-Life 2 will have a field day with this one, and even if you're not into that stuff, this still feels like a great remaster in its own right. And the team behind this project also shared some screenshots from future divisions, and I look forward to all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Definitely give it a shot, link's gonna be in the description. Thanks for watching, and a big thanks to these benefactors for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.